Hey guys, I'm glad to be here. TEDx has been my dream to always be in a TEDx speech. Never really knew what to talk about, but then I guess how to change the world through storytelling seems just like it. So I'm Mushamir Mustafa. I run the project Humans of Kuala Lumpur. We are primarily on Facebook. You can find that we have around 40,000 fans, and I've reached out to almost 8 million fans. When I first started, I was a university student and I was a research assistant. Before that, I was doing photography in high school. I was doing film photography. As a research assistant, I was speaking to lots of people, and I realized, what if I combine both of those hobbies together? Number two, I also heard about Humans of New York, and I thought it was really interesting. You go around on the streets, meeting random people, and getting the stories. I mean, look all around you. Do you know who they are, what they do? Most of us have a story that none of us know. I mean, there's so many stories down there that we should just figure out and find out what is it about. So, yes, I want to tell you that storytelling, when you get stories from people and you try to tell a story to other people, you can create an impact. Stories can raise awareness, it can influence people to take action, it can influence people like you and me, and stories can come from anyone, no matter how ugly, beautiful, rich, poor. Everyone has a story. I'll give you an example. You do not have to be Tony Fernandez to tell a great story. In fact, if you went and talked to your grandmother right now, I'm pretty sure she can tell you an amazing story about the history of Malaysia. Don't believe me? Check this out. Meet my uncle, or my grandfather. He was passing away, he was dying soon, and my dad was like, get the story. I barely knew this guy. All I knew was that he stays at home all day long. And then I checked his photo album and I asked for his story. And guess what? He was a British army soldier back before Malaysia was even independent. Back then there was no Malaysian army, it was the British army. That's a uniform right there. I was like, wow. Not only that, eventually after that he became a driver for the Agong, the first king of Malaysia, up until the fourth king. I was like, oh my god, that is so amazing. Some of the stuff I found, that's his driver's license, colonial Singapore, not Malaysia. And that's his discharge certificate when you leave the army. And it says that Tentara British, which means British Army. I was like, wow. Here was this guy, I barely knew him, and he's such an amazing story. So I wrote the story about him, and I posted photos of him as well. That's him when he was a driver for the king. He was driving American cars like Cadillac and Ford. I mean, nowadays the king uses a different car, and that's one of the agongs from last time. Even the queen came to his house when grandmother died. Now, it came to the point where the story became so viral that even the president of the Malaysian ex-British Army Association contacted me and said, you know what? If he is still alive, he qualifies to be under our association. We will pay for his medical bills, we will take care of him. All this while my grandfather did not know that. And this story went so viral that everyone else was talking about the grandfathers and the grandmothers. Who was my grandparents? Now, that is amazing. Look around you, other people over here that also have amazing stories. You just have to ask. And those stories can make a big impact, such as for my grandfather. So, you can find the most unexpected stories from anywhere. And these stories can also make an impact. And I will show you 4 themes that I tackled. Number 1, the teddy bear doctor. You might or might not know him, but his story went viral. Here was a man who owns his own clinic, decided to start a free clinic on the streets for the poor people and for the homeless. I decided, why do I want to feature him? Well, not many people know about his project. And he needs volunteers. It runs on volunteers. You have doctors who can volunteer. And he's struggling in a way. There's only one clinic there. So I thought, let me go down. One night, I'll volunteer with them and take stories of the people there. I decided to go down there. I interviewed his story. As you can see, that's a background of the operation there. I decided to get his input. Why are you looking at homeless people? His reason is that no one looks after them. and they feel afraid to go to public hospitals. So here we are, a peaceful society that's suffering and no one's taking action. So I believe that more of us need to do for them, and I would like to support the teddy bear doctor. I also went and took a story of one of the homeless people. Now, when I think of homeless people, I'm thinking, they're so lazy, they don't want to work, they're smelly. Yet when I spoke to this man, he was a bus driver, he had a car, he was married, he had his own house. But after an accident, where 2 of his passengers died, and he got wounded on his back, and he got cut in his lip as well, he couldn't find work anymore. He got fired, and because he couldn't work, he couldn't sustain his family, his wife wanted a divorce, and he couldn't find work back, so he was living on the streets. He was telling me that I was just like you before. I had a house, I had a family, but it all went to pieces after that bus accident. So that changed my perspective. I was like, oh my God, he was just like us before that, and now he's living on the streets. So it came to a point where a lawyer approached us, and it's like, wow, I'm a lawyer, I will do legal work for free. Tell me how can I contact him, and I will try and approach his employer and see if, maybe the employer mismanaged him or treated him badly. This story has an impact already. Number 2, I also took photos of the volunteers. I asked, where do they work? Apparently they're all just like you, they're working full-time jobs. Why are they volunteering? And they gave us very good reasons. I want to help people, I feel that we should help them as well. I also interviewed the doctors. Even though she's already working a night shift or an emergency shift, she's still coming here to help out with the people. I went to them, I asked them friendly, I make conversation first, hey, how are you, what are you doing? And then I went deeper and deeper, asking them like, why are you doing this? And that's where you get the personal stories. Eventually, they had only 500 likes on Facebook, now they have 3,000. So many people came to volunteer their time, so many doctors came to become a doctor there, up to the point that teddy bear doctor called me, hey Mush, thank you so much for what you've done. Your story influenced a lot of people. I have to open 2 new clinics. So a total of 3, because I have so much people coming in. So that's one way how you can tell a story, and you look at different angles. You look at the doctor, you look at the homeless person, and you also look at the volunteers. Now, the next photo that I will show you was really, really weird, but amazing. See, my most liked photo was around 3,000 likes. I got it in 2 days. This photo broke that record in 1 hour. I was like, something must be going wrong now. Like, why is this photo so viral? I'll show you the photo. This photo, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but this story went so viral that all the Malaysian media covered this story. She got interviewed, she was on TV, and basically she was given for a job, a better paying job. So her story was that she was a cleaner, working at a company with a mom, who's also a cleaner. And despite being a cleaner and having a degree, people keep saying, why are you a cleaner with a degree? She's like, why not? I want to help my mom. I understand how it feels to help my mom. She got a better paying job from a company which believes in her feng shui. Her birthday was awesome. The guy said, I will pay for your car, I will pay whatever salary you want. But she said, I don't think I can do that work because I don't know how to do that work. And she refused that job and went back to become a cleaner. Eventually, she heard that there was a job opening at the company. She ran and applied. She learned so much. She asked questions. She became a technical assistant in repairing trains. She asked about what does this mean, what does this train do, what are the terms, and eventually she became good at her job. Her story inspired a lot of people because here you have someone who is very sincere, who is very humble, who no matter what job you have, a cleaner, a technical assistant, an acoustic assistant, you do it to the best. You do the best that you can with what you have. That was the story, and 3.6 billion people saw the story. That's another photo of her. That's the first photo of her. Now, if you look at how I took the photo, well, fine, she is pretty, so that kind of helped. Number 2, she works at Prozar right now, so I decided, you know what if I just put her in between the trains, and you get to see the place where she's working. That's what she handles every single day. Here's a photo of her underneath the train, just to show what her life is like. I did another project with the United Nations Population Fund. I went to Sarawak For 3 days, we went to the orang asli villages deep in the jungle. United Nations Population Fund, the mission is basically about sexual health, about teaching people about family planning. Not many people know about the work they do. That's the mission statement right there. It's an agency for delivering a world where every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young person's potential is fulfilled. So I did a story for these orang asli villages. Orang asli is the tribal people. You see that woman over there? That's an iconic photo. She got raped when she was 12, and now she has 7 kids with that same guy. She eventually had to marry him. And every single day she showers at that river right there with all that rubbish. Even I wouldn't want to go and swim there. So I was amazed at what kind of life she was living, and also the fact that she has 7 kids, and when she got raped, back then they did not know about contraceptives, about family planning. So this story tells a story to everyone about family planning. In Sarawak, most orang asli people marry at a very young age. And not only that, they are very far away from the clinics. Like her, for example, she said that most people do not know what diseases are about, and they get easily infected. And most youths there marry and have sex really young. Here's another one. She's saying that how she wants to have more kids, how she had her first kid when she was 19. That's so different than today's generation. And she's also saying how the youngest mother was 13 years old and married to a 30-year-old man. And that's the norm. So I'm trying to tell people this is what's going on right now back here and no one knows. We have underage mothers who do not have access to sexual health services, for example. Here's one of the nurses who said when she first went to the orang asli villages, the orang asli villages used to shoot at her because they weren't sure what she was doing. But now it's much better. And lastly, I also tackled a story where LGBT people were facing hardships. This man, now he knows a friend who got HIV because of his gay lover. Now, your duty is to tell the police, hey, this guy is spreading HIV to everyone that he meets. But when he went to the policeman said, your friend and you, I think you're gay. We can arrest your friend, but I have to arrest you too, because you're gay, and being gay is illegal in Malaysia. Why did I want to sit and take this story? Because I believe that LGBT people, there's a lot in Malaysia. We just don't want to see it, but they're there. And they're facing problems like this. They cannot get treatment, and you cannot report on someone who has HIV and spreading it to everyone else. It's an issue that we need to tackle about, and I did it by taking a story of him. That's him before and after he did the HIV treatment. Here's another one. He's actually a man who wants to be known as a woman. He dresses like a woman, but he doesn't want his face to be shown. He wants to be known as a woman. She has a female name, but when you look at her passport, it says Ali, for example. So she's saying that recognize me for who I am, not what my passport says. And when I took the photo, I took a photo of her fingernails. But you can tell it's a man. So in this day and age, photographs are the best ways to tell stories and make an impact. I briefly covered how I managed to approach these people, why I approached these people, and I'm just going to show a little bit of some photos I've taken, which are interesting, you might like it, and how you can take your next photo. This man in Sarawak, you can see, not only do we see him as a happy man, he was actually very happy. He was going to his farm, taking care of his pigs, and also ubi, which is some kind of vegetable, and he was going out to fish. But if you look behind him, that's where he lives. That dirty river, that ramshackle house, that's where they live. We call it dichotomy. He looks like a happy man, but at the back, that's what, that's a reality right there. So I call this an environmental portrait. You don't just look at the person's face, you look at where they are as well. Another one, he's a bus engineer. I took a photo of him underneath the bus. You can tell he's a mechanic right there. Here's another story. He looks moody, he looks like he's gonna cry, well, he was about to. He couldn't meet his mom during the holidays, during the Ramadan festivals. So I just met him on the train and see that look at his face, he looks like he's about to cry. So I was capturing someone's emotion. That's another way if you wanna get a good photo, get their emotions as well. Here's an even more powerful one. She was crying to me. She was saying how when I was young, I had my daughter and she was a mistake. But now looking back, my daughter is around 12 years old now, I think that was the greatest thing that's happened to me. Look at her, she was crying at them. We get their emotions. Another one, she left her job, she left her full-time job to become a dance studio teacher of sorts. So I will not only look at big topics, I will look at small topics. People like you and me, we're struggling. I mean, how many of you don't like your job or want to do your own thing? She did it. And I took a photo of her doing what she likes best, dancing, right there. This man I just met on the restaurant, I was like, hey, what's up? Where did you get this tattoo? Turns out he was a drug dealer back then, and he was in Pudu jail. I was like, that's so awesome. But again, I just met him at the restaurant, I just asked him about his tattoo, and there you go. This guy, I saw him at the shopping mall, and I was like, you know, what are you doing and whatnot. Turns out he's the founder of Marquis Pizza. And then I told him, has anyone ever told you that you look like Captain America? And he's like, yeah, I get it sometimes, but I get mostly Bradley Cooper. The story went viral because, not because it's a message, but just because it's a funny story. So you can see now different, you know, you can also, these are some different ways you can take good stories and good photos. Here's another one about One Malaysia, how they are very different people, but they're the best of friends. When I posted this story, a lot of people will say, yeah, I believe One Malaysia should be like this. I have a Malay best friend, a Chinese best friend, an Indian girlfriend. So people were talking about it, and that's also how you share a story. This is our twins who share everything in their life together. I met them at Starbucks. I took a photo with my phone. And so, tell stories to entertain, educate, inspire, and touch lives. Tell stories to win hearts. Most of all, real, honest, intimate stories are more shareable, likable, and believable. Because it's who they are. I'm not paying them to tell the story, it's who they are. It's who you are as well. So, let people's stories create ripples of change. Go and ask your friends and your family, what are their stories? Ask around. You might never know someone who had done something amazing before, or maybe they were the king's driver before, you do not know. Or maybe they got raped when they were young. Just say it. And these stories will create awareness. Eventually, it will also create impact. People will take action on it. That's how storytelling can change the world. So lastly, let your stories create ripples of change. Ask questions, tell a good story, and change the world. Thank you.